It's an interesting development, isn't it? I'm keen to find out from you who exactly is affected and how many.
Well, 1 million Bangladeshis, Filipinos, Indians, Pakistanis, Sri Lankans, Yemenis, they all went home in the last 3 months alone. I mean, the border, for example, of Yemen, they've been overwhelmed with busloads of 6,000 Yemenis in the last 2 days.
Doha may look uber-modern with glittering skyscrapers and innovative architecture, but outside the heart of the city live the army of poor foreign labourers who built it. They stay in row upon row of cheap housing that stretch for miles.
No one can understand our feelings. We just a labor. All people hate us.
This block of flats looked good from the outside. In fact, it's meant to be one of the better places. But inside, it's 8 men to a room. This kitchen is shared by 20 people. And as you can see, it's both filthy and basic. The bathrooms are even worse. But these like local people, I mean, why is it targeting local people and your own people?
It's the rich people. It's the rich people, the people that have got businesses, and that's why all of this has happened, because of rich people.
Many people in Britain say the looting and violence was mindless criminality, but others are wondering why it happened in the first place. Some people say it's linked to an underclass of people who have been excluded and ignored.
Why is King Abdullah doing this? Is this something to do with the Arab Spring? Is he trying to be a modernist?
I think he is trying to be a bit more responsive since the Arab Spring, and he had talks, he consulted religious scholars, and they allowed the participation of women in the Shura Council according to Sharia law. So they've actually modified the council chambers themselves, so there's separate doors and separate areas, so there can be segregation. Here in the town centre of Soma, the deaths of 301 miners still roar. And these workers here are demonstrating for better and safer working conditions. People just did not listen to the curfew and were still out on the streets. The police were pushed back and actually just had to let them. They were completely overrun. Then the army came onto the streets in armoured personnel carriers to try and keep some form of peace. What the protesters and people have been asking for is for Mubarak to step down. So for him to just sack the government, I really don't think that's going to be enough. People on the streets have been very passionate and continuing all through the night, and we're expecting more to come out in the morning. The strikes are happening against a backdrop of 3 years of political upheaval, which has battered the economy. But the revolution was largely about improving the lot of the poor. Bread, freedom, social justice, not something many are willing to let go of after all the uprising has cost in terms of blood.
Speaks to the BBC's Leana Hosea, who joins us now from Tunis, and I think you were caught up in those demonstrations as well. Just give us an update on what happened.
Well, it started off in the morning, straight after Friday prayer. Hundreds of people were marching towards the embassy, shouting, God is great. They felt very insulted by the film. They wanted a proper apology from the United States. We got to the embassy, clashes quickly broke out.
In the African bush, a rhino is about to be shot. But this isn't a poacher. He's a vet trying to save the animal's life. This rhino had been attacked for her horn, which can sell for $250,000 on the black market in Asia, where it's falsely believed to have healing properties.
It's incredible being this close to a rhino. But what's really amazing is that she's still alive. Poachers took off her horn and part of her face with a chainsaw.
To me now, and Leana, it really struck me that you've managed to speak to a family that's involved in poaching, or has been, because it's very easy to demonise what people are doing, which is dreadful, but you've got to understand a bit about what's driving them to it.
Well, that was part of the point of making the film, is that actually go and meet these poachers who are doing it. What's their motivation? I'm at the Arizona 1 uranium mine, and this is the uranium ore, which has been dug up from 400 meters underground. I'm about to go all the way down.